So welcome everybody to the second hour of Mind Shifters Radio. And today is Thursday, January the 7th, 2020. And our call-in number is 563-999-3581. And press 1, and that puts you into queue to talk to us. We'd love to hear your comments and questions because that makes this your show. We'll give Michael just a few minutes to get dialed in. I'll invite everybody to go to the website and click on either the Start Here or the bullseye in the middle of the page, and both of those will take you to the same place. And that's where you'll find the worksheets and MP3s, lots of information, and put it to work in your life. We also have added a couple new things. If you're on our email list, you would have gotten our new newsletter. So welcome, Michael. I'll let you talk about that.
Sure. Welcome, everybody. Honored and delighted that you're here to once again be part of this process. And we did send out another newsletter last night that has an article on basically a look at the core of the work. And we've got a link to a Neil Sess video, as a neurophysiologist, and how the mind produces perception. It looks at the forgiveness process. The lesson, "What is the world?" there's a link to that in the article. There are links to, or there's information on downloading the app. There's a link to a free copy of Why Is This Happening to Me Again? We are doing a Valentine special, and the book on CD, which has 5 CDs of a fairly emotionalized reading with a fellow who was really into, ready to do some work. And so there are 5 CDs where we read the whole, and it's actually a new version of Why Is This Happening to Me Again? An edited version that has not been published. The original version is the one that's out there in paperback. But this is a new version of the book. I did some editing for the Swedish version of the book. And so that we had complete and did that when we did the reading. So there are 5 CDs, and then there's a 6th CD in that package that has an MP3. So you can load it on your phone, carry it around your phone to listen to it, or put it on your computer or what have you. So you don't actually need a CD player with that. So you can use it in both directions. So we're including that. That's normally a $30 package. And then the CD, Wellness to Stillness. And it's kind of interesting how that CD came about. I actually did it almost 40 years ago when I had a practice. When I was practicing as a naturopath in Atlanta. And I was working with a group and created this meditation for focusing and progressive relaxation and creating a verbal picture of health of each of the structure system, the glandular, limitive, nerve, digestive, muscular, circulatory system. So there's a health image for each of those to integrate. If anomalies have come in and disturbed those, and this strengthens the original energy of each of those systems. And actually done it, and I moved. I was in Atlanta at that point. I moved to South Florida, and I got a call from a guy from Canada, and it was about 10 years later. And this guy from Canada calls and says, that meditation CD that you've got, I've worn the cassette out, and it's my healthcare plan. I need another copy of that. And it had been 10 years. It had been packed away and kind of forgotten. But he's like, I get sick, I lay down, I do that meditation, I'm well, and I go, and I'm in business, and I need to be on the go. So I went looking through the archives and found it. We remastered it, and it's now available on CD. It's about a 20-minute meditation. So that's normally a $10 product. That's included in the package. And the shipping normally for a package like that is, I don't even know what it is on the website. I know it's more than that, but we're listing it at $5. So there's a $45 package, and we've put that in a special link. You can't go to the page where you normally would order those things, there's a special link in the newsletter. And if you click that link, then you can have that whole package for $30. So for the price of the book on CD, we'll cover the shipping and include the Wellness to Stillness meditation. And so that's there's a link there. And if you're not on our mailing list for that, you can go to our website, whyagain.org, and about the center of the home page, you'll see a link that says sign up for our mailing list. And so if you want to be on our mailing list, then that's what you do. And when you put that in, you will get automatically, and we protect it very well. We don't share this with anybody else. It's only for use around this work. And so if you're interested in being on the list, we send it out usually about once a month. Occasionally we'll do a second one. As things crank up in the digital world, we may do maybe another one a month. I don't know. It'll just sort of we'll see how that all unfolds. But if you want to be on that list, then please drop a note or drop into that link, and you'll be signing up for our mailing list. We keep the information very, very private, and so you're welcome to be part of that. Jeanie, you had a thought?
I was just going to say, and I put a link to the newsletter and also to the Valentine's special in the notes for today. So after the show, you'll be able to pick that up out of the radio archives as well.
Great. So anybody who isn't on the mailing list will still be able to get that special because you can only get it through that link. Good. And then we've also, in that email, and I'm just going to find it, we have a list of what's included in the Codependence Interdependence Intensive. Some people had asked for us to detail that. So if you choose to register for the intensive coming up, it'll be Codependence to Interdependence Communication Practice. It'll actually start on the 27th of this month. It'll be a 14-week intensive, and you'll get 4 hours of video, links to videos that are live Codependence to Interdependence Communication Practice, all the teaching, all the process work. So there'll be 4 hours of self-study. So there's a total of 56 hours of class and then 2 hours on the personal code evaluation. The intensive includes 3 personal code evaluations. So you've got feedback on where your work is and what work you need to do and what your next best efforts will be beneficial for. So there'll be permanent access to that 58 hours of video once you register for the intensive coming up the end of the month. And we're going to cover why is this happening to me again, healing through relationships, communications, you hear what I think I said, and codependence to interdependence. We'll also do mind shifters and still point breathing as part of the process. And then live each week for that 14 weeks on Wednesday evenings from 6 till 8 o'clock Eastern Time, we'll be doing a 2-hour live Zoom process with everyone. So that's going to produce another 28 hours of video, which will be permanently available to you. So you'll have, by the time the intensive's over, you'll actually have permanent access to 86 hours of workshop videos. And in this the initial 4 hours per week, we go really deeply into everything that we're doing with the codependence work, with the healing through relationships, and of course the forgiveness process. And you'll have access to any additional information in the future that we add to that. So what we're planning, what we're envisioning is, and this is a new thing, we couldn't do this previously, is kind of a rolling intensive. And so for anybody who did the last one we finished just a couple of weeks ago, they'll be invited to be guests in this upcoming one. And then those who complete this upcoming one, the next time we do it, they'll be invited as guests into the next and the next and the next. And each time we'll produce another 28 hours of video work. So the 86 hours will grow by another 28 hours. The next intensive we do, the next one will grow by another 28. And there may be occasional bonus videos that we do along the way. I don't know exactly. It's kind of a work in process. It's live and developing. But you will have permanent access to anything we add to that Codependence Workshop video library in the future. And you'll be invited to participate in every future Codependence to Interdependence communication practice forever. You'll have access to that. And there's also access to our private Facebook page, which, thank you, Irate. If you happen to be on the phone, the work Irate did, and Tom, I understand, was right there assisting her, putting it together, is phenomenal. We've got a private Facebook page for the intensives only that includes 14 weeks of HeartLand-style food. When we do an intensive, we do total fresh and raw food. So you'll have a private link to that Facebook page, and it has fresh and raw menus, and that means nothing is cooked. We do all fresh and raw food. That's what, there isn't one person on the planet that has ever been documented as coming out of the womb with a cookpot in their hands. Maybe cooking food isn't everything it's cracked up to be. It actually, in some circles, it's treated as a drug. So when we do a HeartLand intensive or we do a residential intensive, we do all fresh and raw food. Nothing is cooked. And so the fact that, of course, this is an online thing, we've given access, and Irate, as I say, did a fabulous job of putting those menus together. She put together a list of equipment that you need to do the whole 14 weeks. If you need this or that, what kind of equipment do you need? A dehydrator, where to get one. There's one that's available, a pretty good one that's available for under $100, or you can, of course, go bigger, what you need in the way of blenders or whatever to prepare the food. And then she's done videos as she's preparing many of these menus, pictures, and so you'll have access to that Facebook page, and you'll get the passcodes for the Trello app, which takes all of those menus and puts them into a list of, breakfast, lunch, dinner, desserts, dressings, and you just click on them. And she's just done an amazing, amazing job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you'll have membership in the 7th item that will be part of that intensive is membership in the private Codependence Interdependence WhatsApp support page. So we've set up a support page so that we can do questions and answers for folks who are doing that codependence work. And of course, we've got the radio show as well, 5 days a week to offer support. We want you to be successful at using these tools. And ultimately, we envision doing each of our intensives in this format online and then having them available and simply growing these rolling intensives where everyone's got ongoing support. Kind of the beauty of doing this online and being able to bring, we had 25 people in my last intensive, being able to invite them on board with this. There is support for everybody that's in the intensive that's new. And, we'll be pairing people up and support, that sort of thing. And, of course, it's support for each of them to do the next level of their work. We're going to invite everybody that was in that intensive to go back through 4 hours a week of self-study, the 2 hours each evening, and get to the next level of support. So it'll be an ongoing, rolling intensive. And I'm much appreciative of the fact that Zoom came along at the right time and that we got hunkered down for with COVID, which has kind of forced us to get a studio set up and to create this. So it's going to take things to a whole new level, which I am excited about. So all of that is in the new newsletter, and if you're interested in participating in that, we'd be honored and delighted for you to drop Jeanie an email. If you've got my phone, you're welcome to give me a call, but drop Jeanie an email at jeanie@yagain.org and let her know that you have an interest, and we will, if you include your phone number, I'll get back to you and we'll chat and determine if it's appropriate for you to participate in the intensive. Get you signed up if you want to come play. So I'm going to go back and just briefly complete the overview of the book, Why Is This Happening to Me Again? We're going to parallel Dr. Tim doing the course. Well, we're going to do the course that appears in my book, Why Is This Happening to Me Again? So we read half of it yesterday of the overview, and so here's the second half. This book is designed to be a source of clarity and empowerment now and in the future. To receive the full benefit from the design, customize this book by writing in it. Scribble, write, express yourself, feel, think, get messy, contemplate, create, reason, draw, play, mess the book up. Put everything that moves in your mind in it. And it will all be part of building the brain cells to move to a whole new level. Surprisingly, as you use these tools, aspects of life that once seemed miserable will become enjoyable. For instance, if you have a pattern where it seems you have no choices in life, use of the tools transforms those times into an empowering opportunity to learn choice. For some, in their rage, grief, and fear, that seems uncontrollable. With tools, surfacing the uncontrollable becomes an opportunity to gain freedom and to develop joy, strength, and aliveness through the healing of those destructive energies. You may find yourself yelling at or arguing with this book, or me, please be gentle. Talk or scream if necessary. It can be an important step to sanity. Once somebody commits themselves to an intensive, the energy starts to move. The deeper your commitment is to doing your work, the more those untoward energies are going to start to move, and that is absolutely wonderful. It's desirable. We want that to happen. We're not looking for you to go, oh, I'm going to do my work and now everything's going to be peaceful. We're looking for you to do your work and clean up, move into conscious relationship with what's inside of you that perhaps for 1,000 generations has been hidden. Because anything that we hold inside of us that we refuse to come into conscious relationship with, sooner or later drives our lives. When we're able to face those things and let them come up, when we step into a safe space where there's support and there's the tools to assist in working through those things, then we get to walk around without them. Sometimes we go into a situation, all of a sudden, all kinds of upset and disturbances there, and we think, oh, I'll just run away from that situation because that situation is the problem. Excuse me. Whatever that upset is, you've been through it 87 different times with 42 different people. Here's the space to access it and process through it. That's the whole idea of this work. So this manual is designed to bring up and support you in healing any energy in you that undermines aliveness. During this process, you'll encounter everything in your mind, including enormous love. Richard, the character in this book, represents a composite of 1,000 conversations with real people. Any resemblance to people you know is purely intentional and highly probable. If you trigger, the most common feedback I get in the book from people reading the book is, oh my God, Michael, I'm Richard. How did you know those secret things about me? Because they're not secret and everybody's doing it. Virtually everybody. I don't care. I've talked to billionaires, and they have problems that are no different from anybody else. I've talked to people on the street, problems no different from the billionaire. They're still dealing with the generational patterns inside themselves. If someone triggers issues or feelings in you that you would prefer to avoid, great. Be aware that your healing journey is about to take another step. If you identify with Richard, this text offers ample space to look at yourself. Beware the tendency to think that he or words on a page could possibly be responsible for anything you feel. However, he may give you some opportunities to heal. The dialogue between myself and troubled Richard is a fast-paced, nurturing, and enlightening dialogue. You'll be gripped by the way he unravels the blocks that keep him from receiving the love for which he yearns. You will cheer as he rebuilds his understanding of the dynamics of his life, his confused childhood, and his muddled, seemingly hopeless relationships. You will join him in learning step-by-step tools that will enhance your life, and you don't need to be in turmoil or upset for life to get better. People from all over the world, including those who've created wonderful lives themselves, have benefited from refining their life skills by using these tools. This process requires courage and will not always be Dr. Feelgood. However, the rewards and results will impact you and your family in wonderful, beautiful ways for eternity. Blessings and love on your journey, Michael. So that's the author's overview of the book, Why Is This Happening to Me Again? And we'll be coming back to that every day as we work our way through the book. And so if you're out there in listener land and that brings up any thoughts for you, questions, we are here to answer those questions and would love to hear from you. Our calling number if you're on one of those stations where we can't see you, it's 563-999-3581. If you call that number, you'll be listening to the show. And if you raise your hand by pushing 1, then Jeanie will introduce you, and we'll be having a conversation. And we would be appreciative of having a conversation with you. Our whole purpose for this work is to bring up real-life issues and create real support for the healing of those issues. So we're delighted that you're here. And Miss Jeanie, do we have anybody with a hand up in the phone queue or anything happening in the chat room?
We have an interest in the chat room in the intensive, so I'm going to send you the V card information on that. And nobody has a hand up.
I'll give you a call after the show.
We have 39 minutes. We've got plenty of time to talk. What would you like to discuss?
How can we support you? I was talking to someone the other day, and they were like, all right, I went over what's included in the intensive. They're like, wait a minute, we get all of that as part of an intensive? Yeah, that's the idea. And our commitment, our desire is to be of ongoing support. And literally to be, and this radio show is part of our way of being on the support team of every mind, heart, and being on the planet. I'm so appreciative of the fact that Blog Talk came along with this conversation, with this technology, so we could have a conversation like this. And this conversation has been going on for 10 years. And it's going to go on for eternity. We're rock and roll. We're putting it out there. And if you're new to the show and you weren't aware of it, right after each show is complete, I'm not sure, Jeanie, maybe you know better than I do just how long it takes for them, but Blog Talk, then you can go to the link on our website and you can download the show so you can re-listen. If there's something you missed or something that really touched you, then the archives are there. And I don't know how many hours we've got in archives, probably something like 3,500 by now, Jeanie, you think? So you can go back and listen to shows that have been going on for 10 years and just all kinds of very powerful conversations. So how can we support you? What's on your mind? Call-in number is 563-999-3581. Call that number. We'll be having a conversation. Push 1 to raise your hand. Now, come on, I know you're out there. I know you've got a question in your mind. You may be shy. Oh, my voice might be shaky. Can you make it okay for your voice to be shaky if it is? And call anyway? Well, my question's not very important. Well, actually, let me say that one of the things I most appreciate about this venue is that we get to keep going back to some of the very basic questions. And it's those basic questions that open the space for everyone for the next level of understanding. And so the most basic questions, maybe you're starting, maybe you're advanced in this work. Whatever your posture is, we'd love to hear your voice, and we would love to be on your support team. And
okay,
kind of
I got a text from Susan. She said she pressed 1 again, but sometimes when they're on there, it doesn't flip them, so I can't see. So go for it, lady.
Oh, hey there, young lady.
Hi.
Welcome. Hey.
Hi. Hey, I have a thought about the intensives that you're about to start and the fact that it's available to the rest of us as a rerun, refresher. I at first found it quite daunting to go back onto the Facebook page and scroll around and find all the links. But there is a way of, maybe you know this, and I'm just not that experienced. I found a way to put all of the videos in a list with all the links. And I have it in my email in a folder, and so I just go there and tap the next one, and it's very, very handy. And so for any of us who are feeling, so I guess I wonder if I could just send you the whole list.
If you would do that, that would be awesome, and we can post it on the WhatsApp page. So everybody will have access to it. They can just go back to WhatsApp.
You can also post it on the in the group too, on the Codependence page.
Oh wow, that's true.
Yeah,
I didn't think that would be.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Okay, and
that would be awesome.
I mean, it's sort of jury rigged. I tossed it together pretty fast. So if you as you're going along, if you find a glitch, but anyway, it's very, very handy. I just have an easy time now knowing what's next, what I've done already, and So,
awesome. Well, thank you for that. That'd be a really nice piece of information to have. And what we're planning to do with the new intensive is we're actually going to be posting 4 hours each week, so they won't have to wade through anything. It won't be that they'll be going to the Facebook page, that we'll be posting it on Vimeo, and they'll have access each week to 4 hours, so they'll build through the intensive just the same way as we did it, when we were live.
Oh, that's great. So that will help too. Yeah.
We're learning.
We won't have access to the Vimeo, though, right? That's the new people?
We'll probably, it'll be the same stuff that's on the Codependence page. That's something we haven't talked about, but we could put everybody that's on the, from that first intensive into the list when we mail those links out. So, yeah, that would probably be doable. We'll have to look at it. I don't know what's involved, but I'd say that's quite likely.
Yeah.
But your synopsis list sounds great. That would be helpful.
Yeah. I've been thinking about, and this will help, that list will help. I've been thinking about how to publicize this with friends, and I go into my own brain and I find that there is resistance because of the Facebook page being so chock full of all sorts of things. It might be rather overwhelming. So I'm thinking this would be, you've done it. If you're doing that with the Vimeo, you're really answering my reservation about, some people are a little bit gun shy about Facebook.
Yes.
They don't like to spend time. I actually am one of those people. I don't like to spend a lot of time on there. So this is good. This would be good.
Yeah, we're planning to do a week-by-week kind of thing, and ultimately there will be access, so they'll have all of the links in the Facebook page. At least that's what we're anticipating. But it'll just be 1 week at a time through the 14 weeks, and then the 2-hour Wednesday evening thing. So,
yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Jeanie,
great.
you were going to say something?
I
So
was
have
just
a whole
going to say, and if you need to introduce somebody to, the intensives that's coming up and what it includes, forward them the newsletter.
Yeah.
Or the link to the newsletter. Right.
Yeah. Okay. I can certainly do that. So unrelated, I have a question. Is it possible or helpful to do a word link that's negative, like I give up hope, I give up all hope, I give up expectations? Or is the giving up part too negative?
Well, I think I want to know more about what you're dealing with before I jump in on that thought. But let me just use an example. And actually, you've heard me talk about Dan McDougall before, the person that I co-authored Laws of Living with. And one of his favorite examples of word links was a woman who was had been in jail several times repeatedly for passing bad checks.
Oh, yeah.
And you remember talking about that. So, when he asked her, what do you think about when you think about passing bad checks? It's money and fun. So he gave her the word link of stinky jail. And once she'd done that, that was the last time she went back to jail. She thinks about passing a bad check, and it's, that stinky, rotten jail. Not going back there. And it was enough to shift her behavior. So that might be what you would call the example of a negative word link. But
yeah. Well, this is sort of fallout from my work in AA with Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous. I transposed Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous to relationship addiction, codependency, basically.
Right.
Addiction to other people caring about me, treating me a certain way, and all this stuff. So one thing that helped me way back then was to give up all hope of getting anything from anybody or that person who was the object of my attention at the time, getting anything from them at all. And it did help me, but there may be a much better way to word it. Giving up hope is kind of like a letting go, letting the other person be just who they are and do what they do without my trying to control it in my direction or getting anything from it. So it is a lot of giving up.
Yeah. My take would be that it would I would get that it would probably be more specific. And I think the better tool in that case might be the worksheet. So, when I realize that I have demand for Harry to do this, I have a goal for Harry, then canceling that goal would probably be the more effective way of processing through that. And of course, everybody, remembering our definition of addiction, it's a compulsive use. Anybody or anything, any circumstance that I use compulsively, there's my addiction. And looking at what I'm attempting to get from or out of them and doing a worksheet on that, I think would probably be the more effective tool.
That is definitely true. I'm finding the word links really helpful, particularly the
They're
one.
Powerful.
Give up the goal. Breathe and cancel. Breathe and cancel. Breathe and cancel. So
and smile.
Cancel, in a way, it's a great one. That's been the most useful of all of them. And by the way, that since my second evaluation questionnaire resulted in a lot of different challenges than the first one, I've basically made a list of all of the word links, and I just use them all because I want to cover all the bases all the time.
Perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're good.
It's a very profound tool. It can really shift and change things, and then when put together with the other tools, it takes everything, the whole process, to a whole different level.
Yeah.
So it is good.
Well,
and
I've been Go ahead.
I was just going to say I'm excited about how this whole technology thing is opening up our ability to put the work out there. Pretty cool.
I've been a fundraiser for you, and I think you should charge what you charge, and you should be getting regular donations all the time from all of us from as many of us who are benefiting as can afford it. But I do have one friend who might be interested in this new intensive, but the cost is out of the question for her. She just dismissed it right away. Do you make arrangements for people? Do you have scholarships?
I do. We do make arrangements with people. What I've found is that if people aren't invested, they don't do the work.
Well,
but I think make some kind of an arrangement with someone if they're ready to do their work.
Right. Well, this is somebody who's already doing a lot of work. So I think she would be a good customer. But, I haven't even mentioned anything like that because I'd rather press her a little bit by saying, scrape it together, do the best you can because you'll get the benefits from it. I think I'll take that tack first. But, if she just swats it aside, I might suggest this other business.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to work with anyone that wants to do the intensive if money is a challenge, to spread it out over whatever time period makes it doable for people. Money becomes part of the process because that's what it takes for us to move in the world and to develop things and take things forward. We do as much as we can possibly do for absolute free, just as available as we can possibly make it available. And there's the factor that when people invest nothing, then it's worth nothing. So we just try to find a balance with that. But if she's interested, I'll happy to have a conversation and see if there's a way to work out some sort of spread it over a year or 2 years or whatever to make it doable.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Sweet.
Okay, and a whole nother question. You sent me your newsletter, not your work newsletter, but a family Christmas card, which I appreciate so much. But I couldn't figure out who Ron, Brandon, and Carlotta, I forget their names.
Carlinda.
Who are they?
They're Jeanie's stepson is Brandon, and his wife Carlinda.
Okay, thanks.
So
and
Ron fit them in anyway.
Ron is my former who has passed away, and that's Ryan's dad.
And Brandon's dad. And Eric's dad. So it's all in the family.
Thank you. All right. Thanks a lot, folks. That's it.
All right. We appreciate you. Thank you. And by the way, speaking of your efforts in fundraising, and we appreciate that immensely. We had fulfilled, there was a challenge up to December 31st of $1,000, and that was met, and the person who offered that, who wants to remain anonymous, matched that donation. And then it was the same person who offered to match $250 a month, and they've done that as well. And someone else has a $1,000 challenge out by, is it the 15th of January, Jeanie, or the end of January? I don't remember.
The 15th of January.
So someone else put out that they do a matching donation for up to $1,000 by January 15th. So if anybody feels inclined, if you're going to do it, sooner or later, if you get it before January 15th, that means that your donation will be doubled. And we appreciate the support.
Oh, that's
I'm actually searching right now. One of the challenges with the whiteboard that we've got is sometimes the light reflection is not the best on that board, and so I'm looking at I'm looking at different things, but there's a blue board out there that apparently has no light reflection, and I think we're going to probably replace that the whiteboard with this. It's some sort of a glass type board that I think we're going to replace, and that'll take care of it'll improve our video signal considerably on the board. So.
Nice. Great.
So we're learning.
Jeanie,
we're learning.
Good. Jeanie, I had a question about your phone. You said you needed an iPhone 11 or up. Does it have to be an iPhone? A 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can it be an N?
It has to be an iPhone. I have an Android, and see, we have the app. The app is both in the Apple Store, and it's also in Google. So Androids access the Google, so I can do tests and updates and things like that with my own phone or computer. But whenever I make an update to the Apple, I have to find somebody who has an Apple phone that can go out and test it for me, and so that I have several people I've called on, and sometimes they're busy, and it's 2 or 3 days before they can test it. And so if I had one, it would just make me more efficient. But
we had, when we initially did the app, we could do that on an iPhone 6, and so we have an iPhone 6. But because of the latest updates, that will no longer work. For testing, we can't test on that phone, so that's what that request was about.
Wow,
and
that's quite a jump.
we're also looking at Yeah, we're also looking at, I had an invitation the other day, and I'm looking at, there's a particular technology group that is Apple-oriented, and it can only be done in Apple, and it's a by invitation only type of combination of podcast and social media type of thing, but you've got to have an iPhone to do it. And so I've been invited to do that, but need to have an updated iPhone to do it. So there's been another reason added, so we've been looking at, how we're going to accomplish that. So.
Whoa. Well,
the technology learning is advancing, and what we're going to do, if that all comes together and we do that, then we're actually going to broadcast the radio show on that iPhone. I don't even know what to call it at this point. This iPhone social media podcast system, so that it'll also empower us to increase our listenership through. Apparently it's a grouping that, there's something like 600,000 members right now, and so we'd be opening up the doors for a lot more people to have access to the work. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to watch how the technology is growing and how it's happening. Pretty sweet.
All right.
And we're learning. There are probably many more places we'll end up going. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, anything else on your mind for today, young lady?
No, thanks so much, though. Carry on.
It's in the plan. We're on it. Yeah. And, of course, holding a space, inviting everybody to join and hold a space for the craziness that's been going on in our world politically. The people who died last night, yesterday, in that whole fiasco in D.C., and just that every participant involved, whatever side of the discussion they're on, is irrelevant, to remember that who we are and to start to function out of who we are rather than all of this pain and craziness and hatred and vengeance. It's like it's just time for healing, time to be done with it. So we ask everybody to join in holding the space for that healing process on every level and every aspect of the political system and the rage that goes along with non-human life, that we bring a space of healing for it. It's time. It's time for us to realize who we all are.
Amen.
Amen and
amen. As Alan Hoffman, Dale Allen Hoffman would say, Amen. Or how do you say it?
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen. Right. Yeah. Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
All right, young lady. We'll look forward to the next
Thank
time we
you.
get to chat. Give Tim a hug for us. Tell him we said hello.
All right, I will.
All right. So, Miss Jeanie, do we have anybody else out there with a hand up on the phone queue? Anything happening in the chat room?
We do. Area code 760. You're on the air. Who do we have?
Hey there. I had to do what Susan did. I had to call back in order to get on because I was on Dr. Tim's as well. This is Ann in Florida. Sorry. First of all, Susan is still listening probably. I need to apologize to her. When I was on with Dr. Tim, Mary came on after me, and it triggered that, I didn't say something positive to Susan before I said, something that she had said about using the word everybody. And that was more of a negative comment. Anyway, I'm just apologizing to Susan first off. And that's what doing intensives together open up, just for those who haven't done one yet. And that was our first Zoom, your premier Zoom intensive. But
right.
When you've bonded with the other people in the group, this is my perspective, that, I don't know, it's like it's easier to apologize than when someone else that you've known before, which I happened to run with Mary in another intensive, and I realized, that, and then I've seen her on one of your videos, and so It's like, wait a minute, I'm trusting what's getting triggered and I need to take action on it. And it's like, it just starts to come easier to apologize, when it's been something on my part. Anyway, so now, Susan, I appreciate all your questions. So there's the positive part. So thank you for, her participation in the call-in of the shows. And then about the intensive, when you send us the invite, those that have already been the first time, is it going to be by email, Jeanie?
Probably.
Yeah, probably, and I'll include the link then to get onto the. I can't even think now what the name of it is. What are we using, Michael?
Zoom.
No, not Zoom. The thing that we're going to have the recordings on.
Oh, on Vimeo.
Vimeo.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the other term that you used, and I wasn't familiar with. Okay. Yeah.
Vimeo is a video hosting site, and so we're going to do this next intensive on Vimeo.
Okay, but you'll send that in. Okay. So then, since you're starting on the 27th, which I noticed was a Wednesday, so you're starting with the 2-hour.
Yeah, we'll start with that.
Well, everybody will get a link to the 4 hours, the first 4 hours, and that's on their own. So people that can catch up with the first 4 hours, and then the 2 hours on that Wednesday will be the live, discussion and answer, kind of like we did a live one on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. All right. So the new people coming in will have already had the link to do their 4-hour self-study. Okay. Awesome. All right.
Cool.
Thank you. That's helpful.
All right.
Blessings, you guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Blessings. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we've got 2 more hands up.
Let's rock.
Yeah. So area code 520, you're on the air.
Hello. Good morning.
Hi.
This is Audrey.
Hi.
Hey, young lady.
How are you?
Welcome. Good to hear your voice.
Well, it's good speaking with everyone. This morning, I was reflecting, what can I do to be an asset in my world? And with the event in Washington, D.C. And the inner voice, my higher self, said, you teach by example.
That's it.
Peace begins with me.
Yes. Live it.
And live it, be it. And I just want to thank everybody. My life is so much joyful, and it's a vast, joyful journey. Blessings.
Well, I think that life was designed to be the original incredible Joiny, Joy, and we're here to support you in it and hold the space for it. Absolutely, that's what we're here for. It's what it's all about. Facing and cleaning out what doesn't belong, and stepping forward the next level into literally, energetically being the space.
As I continue to live and do my inner work, because that's all there is life. It's so joyful, dissolving the negative energy, which I have created, and it never belonged there. And it's a wonderful journey, and I thank you. Blessings.
Glad to be on it with you, young lady. You're blessed too. Take care. And thank you for saying thank you.
All right. Next caller's area code 828. You're on the air.
828. Give us a name. Where are you calling from? You can hit that mute button, maybe.
I just muted, thinking that I unmuted. It's Magda.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey, young lady. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. So
I wanted to make a suggestion and then give you a little bit of a report from my doctor appointment that I was concerning myself about some. Suggestion. When you are describing the upcoming intensive and how it's going to work to be a rolling intensive, I think it might be easier for us to grasp what you're talking about if you say that those who have taken it before will be invited to attend as guests and add the words with no charge. And I say that because I had a hard time, this is a new concept. I'm not sure that anyone has ever done this wonderful thing before. And so I don't know if you remember, but I had to ask for clarification during one of our classes just to make sure that I was understanding it correctly. And I've heard from other people, being confused about it as well. So if you add no charge as a guest, I think it might be helpful. So that's my offering.
All right. I'll receive that. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, you gave me that wonderful mind shifter the other day because I was worrying myself so much. And the mind shifter was, it is safe and healing, and I love and enjoy it. When I think of going to sleep and never waking up, and then I added the word dash death, or when I die. Mm-hmm. And initially, I was so surprised because initially my reaction was, no, I like being alive, and I enjoy life. And then, however, I realized, yeah, but when I die, I get to go back to source and become fully spirit again and let go of this body and blah, blah, blah. So that took me to, yeah, that's great, but I didn't understand this when I was 4 years old. And I went through that whole memory again with my aunt and uncle and the cemetery and all of that. And it was quite a wonderful process, ending up with, along the way, needing to actually go back into spirit more often by meditating. And pages later. So what happened is that I really relaxed about the information that I might get from the doctor, and even Chuck noticed that when we went the next yesterday. He said, "Oh, you did really good," because he knows how I have been a bundle of anxiety before this kind of thing in the past. So it was very helpful. I thank you. Mind shifters are wonderful. And I've got some follow-up worksheets to do to forgive some stuff that are coming out of that mind shifter as well. So that's my report.
And how was your report?
Well, some positive and some negative. The positive is that my heart is definitely improved in strength from when I was in the hospital and right after the hospital. However, it is not at the level of ability to pump blood that they would like, that they consider normal. And so what he'd like for me to do, if I choose, is to have a catheterization so they can go and probe up there and see what might be happening. If there are any blockages, they can do stents and jazz like that. And the other option was, on the other hand, since you're not having any pain, chest pain or shortness of breath or anything like that, we could wait and you could continue to exercise and so forth and see what might happen in 3 months. And then we can revisit it. So he was incredibly reasonable and even said, you know, I'm just a doctor. I don't know everything.
Wow. That's cool.
I know.
Sounds like you got a gem.
I think so. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some research on, and maybe you know something about how to get rid of blockages that might be, I don't know, what do we call it, deposits, calcium deposits and such that might be in the veins, arteries, and hearts. I'm thinking of apple cider vinegar, and there might be other things. So if you know of anything, let me know.
Those deposits are proteins, proteolytic enzymes.
Proteolytic enzymes, yes.
Yeah, and then watch what kind of oils you're taking in.
Okay.
Because there's certain oils that the body doesn't know what to do with, so all it can do is pack it away, try to find some place to hide it.
Okay, well, we use coconut oil and virgin coconut oil, and what else do we use? Well, I've taken a lot of, go ahead.
Olive oil?
We use some olive oil and avocado oil.
Yeah.
And then I do get a lot of oils with nuts and seeds and almond butter and cashew butter. And
right.
That's about, and butter, cow butter. Yeah. So that's
I'm sending you a link for some proteolytic enzymes.
All right.
And we'll hold the space that you are perfectly guided. And one of the things to be aware of in terms of olive oil, it's difficult to find a really good quality olive oil. One of the things to be aware of in terms of olive oil, it's difficult to find a really good quality olive oil. In fact, It's difficult to find olive oil, period, in America because if I remember correctly from some of the research, about 80% of it's fake. It's not really olive oil. I'll send you a link to one that we found on Amazon as well, and I'll send that to Jeanie so she can put it in the notes too.
Good. I appreciate that. I remember Ari saying that, and that's really why I've down on olive oil a lot, because he was saying that, you really need to know when it was picked, and don't buy anything that doesn't have the picking date on the bottle or the container.
Right.
So I just kind of backed off of it and went more to coconut oil. But thank you. You've got a source then, or a type that you feel okay about.
Yes.
That you can
get
from
different
Amazon.
Places that I'll send you information about.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Well, that's. I see it's time to say goodbye. Blessings to you and Jeanie and everyone on the call and everyone in this wonderful world of ours, especially the people in D.C. Today and tomorrow and whatever. Okay.
All right, young lady. Be blessed.
Very good. Blessings to you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
So we're down to less than 2 minutes.
Cool. I'm sending you an email with a link to those enzymes and to the oil that we just found that Amazon is carrying. That seems like a pretty high quality. And beyond that, we'll hold a space that individually and collectively we can move out of this insane world of hostility and fear, the one between our ears, and open up to the truth of who we are. And we're down to the last minute, so I'm just going to say thank you, everybody, for sharing this space with us. Pass the work on, and have the best year yet.